What if we told you that one of the smallest countries in Europe has defeated empires that stretched from Asia to the Atlantic? Yes, this is Greece, a land where geography itself becomes a weapon, where mountains, seas, and islands form a fortress so difficult to breach that even superpowers from Persia to Nazi Germany paid the price for trying.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, I'm going to be seeing a video today. This is titled Why Greece is Impossible to Invade. Alright guys, if you're curious to see this video with me, please subscribe, and if you find this video interesting, do well to like, share, and subscribe. Alright, so let's jump in.
What if we told you that one of the smallest countries in Europe has defeated empires that stretched from Asia to the Atlantic? Yes, this is Greece, a land where geography itself becomes a weapon, where mountains, seas, and islands form a fortress so difficult to breach that even superpowers from Persia to Nazi Germany paid the price for trying. So here's a fact most people don't realize. 80% of Greece is covered by mountains, making it the most mountainous country in Europe. Invaders don't just face flat battlefields, they face endless ridges, cliffs, and choke points where armies can vanish, strike, and bleed an enemy dry. And then there's the sea. With over 3,000 islands and islets scattered across the Aegean and Ionian seas, Greece has the longest coastline in the entire Mediterranean, longer even than Italy or Spain. For invaders, it was walking into a nightmare. History proves the point. The Persians failed. The Italians failed. Even in World War II, the Nazi blitzkrieg that swept through Poland in 35 days and France in just 46 took 219 days to conquer Greece. And even then, the resistance never stopped. Hitler himself admitted that the delay in Greece disrupted his entire invasion of the Soviet Union. And that's the secret no one tells you about. Greece is not just a country, it's a trap. A trap that has swallowed empires whole. And in 2025, it may be more untouchable than ever before. So why is Greece impossible to invade? Let's see why. If you wanted to design a country that is nearly impossible to conquer, you would probably end up sketching something that looks a lot like Greece. Greece is widely considered one of the most challenging countries to invade due to a combination of geographic, strategic, and modern defensive factors that create formidable barriers for any potential aggressor. Nearly 80% of Greece is mountains or hills, a staggering figure that makes it one of the most mountainous countries in all of Europe. The land itself seems to rise up in defiance, breaking armies apart before they can even march. Movement is restricted to narrow valleys, treacherous passes, and plateaus that act like natural battlegrounds. The legendary Pindus Range, often called the Spine of Greece, stretches like a massive wall across the mainland. Historically, this spine has been a nightmare for invaders. During World War II, the Italian army discovered this the hard way. Outnumbered and outgunned, Greek defenders held the line in the Pindus Mountains, forcing Mussolini's forces into a humiliating retreat. In ancient times, the same geography set the stage for legendary last stands, from Thermopylae to countless other choke points where a handful of defenders could stall an empire. If these mountains don't break you, the sea will. Greece boasts over 15,000 kilometers of coastline, longer than that of France and Germany combined. Add to this the 3,012 islands and rocky islets scattered across the Aegean and Mediterranean, and you have the very definition of a naval defender's paradise. For an invading fleet, every island can be a fortress, every strait a trap, every stretch of water a potential ambush zone. Modern naval planners call it a sea of mines waiting to happen, because in wartime, even small patrol craft and missile batteries placed on these islands could deny access to entire regions of sea. No invader can simply sail in. They'd have to fight island by island, bay by bay, in one of the most complex maritime geographies on Earth. But perhaps Greece's most underrated strength is the way its geography integrates. The mountains of the mainland and the vast sprawl of the islands do not act separately. They function together as one seamless defense system. Greece's own military doctrine describes it as an integrated defense area, where islands serve as forward outposts and the mainland provides the depth and reinforcement. This creates a strategic reality. Even if an invader somehow manages to seize one part of Greece, say an island or a valley, they are never truly secure. Reinforcements can arrive from countless angles, counterattacks can strike from the sea or from mountain passes, and supply lines for the invader quickly become overstretched and vulnerable. Marching an army into Greece is like trying to drive a tank through a maze designed by the gods. The mainland is dominated by rugged mountains, steep valleys, and narrow passes. Add to that the puzzle of supplying troops across hundreds of scattered islands, and you get an operation that quickly turns into a logistical catastrophe. Even in modern warfare, resupply convoys would face bottlenecks, ambushes, and exposure to Greek air and naval strikes. An invader can't simply storm the mainland and call it a day. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please like the video and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us bring more global insights. Now, back to the video. They'd be forced to split forces between the heavily fortified continental defenses and the hundreds of Aegean islands, each capable of serving as a defensive stronghold. And the result will be a stretched-thin army fighting on too many axes at once, the very scenario military strategists warn against. Greece cities are built on defensible high ground, with winding streets and choke points that naturally funnel attackers into kill zones. Modern urban combat is already considered one of the bloodiest forms of warfare, but in Greece, it's compounded by geography. Capturing a single city could require weeks of attritional fighting. Even if an invader somehow overcame terrain, defenses, and urban battles, they'd still face the people. Greece's cultural memory is steeped in resistance, from guerrilla warfare against the Ottomans to the defiance shown during Nazi occupation in World War II. Any occupier wouldn't just fight the military, they'd face an entire population determined to make holding the country impossible. So Greece's reputation as a natural fortress is not theoretical. It has been tested time and again across millennia, with some of the world's most powerful armies brought to their knees by the country's geography and strategy. When the Persian Empire under Darius and later Xerxes set out to conquer Greece, they commanded one of the most powerful military forces in ancient history. Their armies numbered in the hundreds of thousands, far outmatching the small Greek city-states. Yet the Persians quickly discovered that sheer numbers were meaningless against Greece's terrain. At the Battle of Thermopylae around 480 BC, a few thousand Greeks famously led by King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans held a narrow mountain pass against a vastly superior Persian army. For days, they stalled the invasion, exploiting the terrain to funnel massive forces into a choke point where their advantage evaporated. Even after tactical defeats, the Greeks turned to naval geography. At the Battle of Salamis, they lured the Persian fleet into the narrow straits near Athens, where the Persians' numerical advantage again became a liability. Hemmed in, their ships were crushed by smaller, more maneuverable Greek triremes. Ultimately, the Persians failed to subjugate Greece, establishing one of history's greatest lessons in how terrain and strategy can overcome overwhelming odds. Now, fast forward to World War II, when Benito Mussolini launched an invasion of Greece from Albania. Confident in a swift victory, Italy underestimated both the terrain and the resolve of Greek defenders. Instead of folding, the Greeks counterattacked, driving the Italians back into Albania. One of the most humiliating defeats came for Italy's elite 3rd Alpine Division Giulia, which was surrounded in the Pindus Mountains. The division, designed for mountain warfare, was ironically undone by the very landscape it should have mastered. Forced to retreat, it suffered catastrophic losses. Italy's failure was so embarrassing that Adolf Hitler intervened directly to salvage the campaign. Then when Nazi Germany stepped in with Operation Merida, they committed 29 divisions including tanks, mechanized units, and elite paratroopers to finally break Greek resistance. Though they eventually overran Greece, it was far from the quick conquest they expected.
Wow, this is really interesting, all right? Aside their geographical advantage, all right, Greeks are extremely kind, they are welcoming, they are friendly, and they are family-oriented, all right? But the moment that anyone tries to threaten them, that's the moment that they become an unstoppable demon, all right? But the question here is, the people of Greece are actually ready, they are willing to fight for their homeland, they are willing to fight as brothers and sisters. But the question here is, are the politicians also solid? And I hope their politicians are not politicians that will sell off their country for money, all right? If not, Greek people are actually really amazing people, and they are people that can actually come together as one and fight for the same cause. All right, this is really interesting.
The campaign consumed weeks of critical time, delaying Operation Barbarossa, Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union, by 5 to 6 weeks. That delay proved disastrous for the Nazis, who were later trapped in the brutal Russian winter without securing Moscow. Many historians argue that Greece's stubborn defense indirectly altered the course of World War II. In other words, tiny Greece's resistance helped derail Hitler's plans for global domination. While geography alone makes Greece a nightmare for any would-be invader, its modern military power transforms that natural advantage into an almost impenetrable shield. Greece maintains one of the most capable air forces in Europe. Its arsenal includes 24 French Rafale F-3R fighter jets, upgraded F-16 Viper aircraft equipped with cutting-edge radar and weapon systems, and an order of 20 F-35A Lightning II stealth fighters scheduled for delivery by 2028. These assets give Greece not only air superiority but also advanced precision strike options, ensuring that any invading force would be detected and countered long before it reached Greek soil. Next, the Hellenic Navy dominates the Aegean Sea, an area of crucial strategic importance where hundreds of islands form natural defensive choke points. Greece fields modern frigates such as the French-built Belhara class and operates Type 2-14 submarines, widely regarded as some of the most advanced conventional subs in the world due to their stealth and endurance. Planned acquisitions include submarines capable of launching long-range cruise missiles exceeding 1,000 kilometers, extending Greece's deterrence far beyond its borders. Unlike larger countries that rely on offensive projection, Greece's strategy focuses on making invasions so costly that no aggressor can justify the attempt. It's called their defensive doctrine, which include early warning radar and maritime patrol systems covering both mainland and island territories, anti-aircraft and anti-ship missile systems positioned across strategic islands, turning them into unsinkable fortresses. The Achilles Shield multi-layered air defense system, modeled in part on Israel's Iron Dome, designed to intercept incoming aircraft, drones, and missiles. Unlike many NATO allies, Greece consistently invests heavily in its defense. At roughly 3.1% of GDP, its defense spending ranks among the highest in the alliance, far surpassing NATO's 2% target. This level of commitment reflects both Greece's geopolitical realities and its determination to maintain a credible deterrent against any threat. On paper, this means that any direct invasion of Greek territory could trigger the involvement of major NATO powers such as the United States, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, making the cost of aggression exponentially higher. Greece, while relatively small in population and resources compared to larger powers, enjoys the backing of the world's most powerful military alliance. For external threats, whether from regional instability in the Middle East, Russian activities in the Eastern Mediterranean, or migration crises spilling over into Europe, this guarantee bolsters Greek confidence in its defense posture. However, the protection is not absolute. NATO's collective defense framework is most effective against external threats, but becomes far more complicated when tensions arise between alliance members themselves. The Greek-Turkish rivalry is the prime example. Both nations are NATO members, yet their disputes over airspace, maritime borders, and energy rights in the Eastern Mediterranean have led to repeated confrontations. In these cases, NATO is more of a mediator than a defender, often reluctant to choose sides. Thus, while NATO membership provides Greece with a powerful deterrent against non-alliance aggressors, its effectiveness is limited when the threat comes from within. This paradox forces Greece to maintain exceptionally strong independent defenses, ensuring it can withstand crises where NATO's collective umbrella may not automatically apply. To counter this, Athens has launched a €25 billion defense modernization plan through 2035, aimed at ensuring technological superiority and readiness across all branches of its armed forces. This preparation includes advanced missile systems and coastal defenses. Greece has deployed long-range anti-ship missiles and advanced surface-to-air systems along its islands and coastlines, turning the Aegean into a heavily defended zone. These create an anti-access or area denial environment that complicates any potential offensive action. Then strengthened alliances. Beyond NATO, Greece has cultivated bilateral defense agreements with strategic partners. The most notable is its mutual defense pact with France, which commits Paris to support Greece militarily in case of external aggression. effectively doubling down on deterrence against Turkish assertiveness. Also, regional partnerships where Greece is also deepening cooperation with Israel, Egypt, and Cyprus, forming a strategic axis that enhances intelligence sharing, energy security, and military coordination across the eastern Mediterranean. While the Greek-Turkish rivalry occasionally flares into military standoffs, Athens' combination of modernization, alliances, and robust deterrence strategy ensures that any hostile move would carry significant risk. While Greece is extremely difficult to invade, history shows it's not truly impossible. Nazi Germany successfully occupied Greece in 1941, though at considerable cost and with significant strategic consequences. Greece's defensive strength lies not in making invasion impossible, but in making it so costly and time-consuming that potential aggressors must carefully weigh whether their objectives justify the enormous resources required for success. This deterrent effect, combined with modern alliance structures and advanced defensive technologies, makes Greece one of the most challenging invasion targets in the world today. If you found this analysis valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into geopolitics. We would love to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.
Wow, this is really an interesting and educative video, okay? This really shows how prepared and how strong Greece is, all right? They are not a country that can be easily invaded. So if there's anyone that is planning an invasion somewhere, you should think again about that, all right? This is really wonderful, all right? And I like the fact that their geography really favors them. I know that every individual in Greece knows the mountain like the back of their hands, all right? This is really incredible. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts and your opinion. Do you think that Greece is really impossible to invade? Do you think that there are other things that they lack? Do you think they are easily invaded? Let us know in the comment section, all right? Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys on my next one. Bye.